Alright, so to process a 3D object for 3D print, you need to rip it down. Okay? So along with this video, there should be something that the student has to download a program called Slicer. If not, you can download this from the internet. It's called Slicer, SLIC3R app. You can just download it from their website. And it looks like this little yellow Pac-Man that got exploded. So you double click on that. You're also going to have an INI file. It's called Spider-Man. Okay, mine's called Spider-Man Sturdy, but it's Spider-Man. There's a link for that too, and then you have to download that to your computer. I would suggest putting the Slicer application in your applications and the Spider-Man on your desktop. And then what you do is you go and load the configuration. And you choose a Spider-Man. There it is, my downloads. So what Spider-Man does, it tells the 3D printer what properties there are about that 3D printer. It's very specific to the 3D printers. And without this, it will not work whatsoever. It will print in the air. So a lot of students forget this. The reason I named it Spider-Man is because it's just weird. And it's something I can ask the students, hey, what about Spider-Man? And they're going to go, huh? And I know that they didn't watch this video. So Spider-Man. All right, so you have a still file that we exported out. Again, you just go File, Export, Still, and you can export that onto your desktop. Call it flower thing, export. We did that in the last video. So what we do is we add it to Slicer. There it is. And there it is. When you click on it, it should have a size. Again, the size should be about 50 millimeters in one direction. Any smaller than that, it's going to be super small, not worth printing. And other than that, you just hit export G-code. It's going to say something about repair maybe, but we're going to export it as G-code. All right, so that's how you take a still file and turn it into G-code. All right, so now we're going to turn on the printers and get them all ready. So first thing you got to do is there's a switch right here to the left. Sometimes that's mounted. That turns on all the printers. You go like this. Yellow one does not work. Don't even go there. The blue one and green one work. The green one is the best one so far. And you have to copy down this IP address. Okay, before we copy or do anything with it, we're going to just kind of look at this. First off, just kind of clean your area up a little bit. And you're going to be finding some sandpaper. Okay. You are to bring the bed forward as far as you can. Do not ever touch the sandpaper to the tip of the 3D printer. And just give it a light sanding with the coarse coarse sandpaper. Then you're going to find this. It acts as a covalent bond. Yep. So, and then lightly coat your bed with hairspray. Side note, do not touch any of the things, do not touch any of the settings on these at all. Just leave it as is for your first 3D print. Those will be covered later on. The first 3D print is just getting it ripped down and put here. So whatever plastic is here, just use it. Whenever your thing fails, just come see me, and then as we do another one, then we'll cover like how to change all this stuff. So now that we have the IP address, it's buttered up, let's now send the file over to the 3D printer. Another thing you might want to do is see this little camera, point it at the 3D printer so you can see the bed. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is type in that IP address. So there's 237 and there's 231. You can go over to control and you can see the printer, the color of it. So this is the blue one, and then 231 is the yellow one. Okay, so you got the yellow one pulled up. You got the G code already made. So what you do is you go over to here where it says upload. And then you go to where you have it, the G code, which is in my desktop, and you load your G code. Boom. Alright, so flower thing, very descriptive. You might want to put your name on your G code, by the way, because if you get a lot of these, and these might get deleted because they build up. So what we're going to do is just make sure that the printer is actually connected. You do that by going to connection. It says disconnect, so it must be connected. Another thing you can do is now move the arm. Okay, good. So if anything happens, let's say it fails or anything, all you do is have to hit the cancel button. Okay, don't freak out. Just hit the cancel button. You can also load this up on your phone so you can watch your 3D print and check on it. Alright, so I'm just going to hit print. Boom. Okay, what's going to happen is over in my temperature, you're going to see that there is a blue line and it jumped up. And there's going to be a red line that jumps up eventually. So what happens is before it starts, the blue line at the very bottom, okay, which is your bed, is going to have to reach a certain degrees. Okay, and then once it hits that degree level, then your tool will go up in degrees. And once they both go up to a certain degree, Celsius, then it will print. Okay, let's say they don't. Let's say they print up in the air or anything like that. That means you forgot Spider-Man every time. A little thing that you can see is over here in my G-code viewer. You can go to each layer and what it's going to look like as it builds up the object. If it looks like that, you're good to go. And some other things. If your object is too thick, so right now this object is 3 millimeters tall, which is actually pretty good for your first 3D print. You might want to have maybe 5 millimeters tall, but definitely nothing over 5 millimeters tall for your first print. It just takes too long. Alright, so when this gets done, you just let it cool. Both of them, the temperature should be low all the way down, and then you can remove the thing from the 3D bed, and you have now the object. Enjoy.